The Ocho, week 8 for C-Chat. Thank you, Eleanor.
You're welcome.
We are experimenting with some new seating arrangements here, so
Nathan
here
loves
we
it.
go. Yeah, I love
Nathan-
this. It's
Nathan
great. I
loves
don't feel tight at all. Yeah, here we go. We're making friends. Week 8, Station C, C-Chat. We are brought to you by Station C, the network group with the most here in Charlottesville. And we are also brought to you and sponsored by Star Hill Downtown at the Dairy Market. Thank you to those guys for having us here every week. It's St. Patrick's Day on Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're having green beer or not, but they're having beer, so it's the best beer in town. So come on down and get some. And our guest today, well, you know what? Eleanor Von Aken, since we're all on the same camera today.
Hi, how are you today?
Is here. And
How many times are you going to reference that? Just wondering.
enough.
Feeling good. Feeling great.
We are joined this week by, you are in the FNG group, right?
I am.
Whatever that
FNG
means.
Yeah.
Right?
Fun new group.
Fancy new group.
Mr. James Burton of Gig
Fabulous.
Strategic is going to be telling us all about marketing and digital marketing. So we are going to learn a lot today. He had a presentation last week that was awesome.
I'm very excited about
Wednesday
this.
morning. Yeah, you learn a lot. So with that, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Gig Strategic.
Sure, great. Thank you. Yes, I'm James Burton, and I'm the founder, president, co-founder of Gig Strategic. We're a digital marketing company here in Charlottesville, and it started in 2019. I've been in digital marketing for over a decade now, and love it. Love working with small businesses, especially. I'd been working with a company here in town called RKG at the time, now Merkle, and it was an awesome experience. I was there for 5 years, loved it, learned a ton about everything digital marketing. Started as a paid search analyst there, started to learn more about SEO, got some really cool Fortune 100 size clients, and got to spend time in boardrooms of companies like Eddie Bauer out on the West Coast, which was amazing, beautiful boardroom there, and working with Walgreens and JetBlue and some other great companies at that time. And it was just an amazing experience and learned so much. But what I really enjoy is small businesses, because I think small businesses struggle a lot with digital marketing. It's confusing. It's an ever-changing world, we know, and I always say digital marketing requires vigilance because it is such a dynamic space. So trying to help small business owners wrap their heads around it, manage it, understand it better, and be able to be effective and successful with digital marketing has been our mission here in the Charlottesville area and beyond. We have clients in several states outside of Virginia, but mainly focused here in Central Virginia. So it's been a great experience.
I think that when people think about digital marketing, they think about Instagram posts and pictures and, songs that go with it and everything else. But there's so much more behind digital marketing, like on the back end of digital marketing. And I don't think anybody really thinks about it. Like, you're sitting in a boardroom. Why are you sitting in a boardroom, right? Well, there's so much data and stuff that you can get from that. And what's so important about those things?
So yeah, digital marketing, when I think about digital marketing, it's basically wherever my brand is online. So I'm trying to build a brand as a small business. And so when I think about digital marketing, it's basically my online footprint, digital visibility. There's a lot of things I think about when I think about digital marketing, what that is. But basically it's my, instead of that Main Street brick and mortar location, it's my online real estate, my online personality, my brand, my business online. So it is incredibly important, and it does cover so many different things. It's everything from your Google business profile to how you show up on search engines, to your social media pages, to your website, listings, reviews. There are so many pieces of digital marketing. Then you get into advertising as well. So it's important. And I think when we think about marketing a small business, it's trying to get that funnel of getting new customer acquisition that every small business really can struggle with. And depending on, how new or old the business is and how effective they've been in their digital marketing in the past, getting people into the top of the funnel and driving them down to a conversion can be a challenge. And so there's still tons of great opportunities with traditional marketing, radio, TV, print advertising. Those things are great. But more and more people are spending more and more time online with their devices. So we need to be there. And so we developed a strategy at Gig Strategic for our clients and how we approach digital marketing, because we've seen that funnel has been compressed. And I think there's a couple things that have impacted that. One is commoditization. So as a small business owner, I search for HVAC Charlottesville, right? And I get 25 different options.
Right.
So commoditization is a big problem, I think, for small business owners. How do I differentiate myself from another brand, from another business? Am I just a restaurant? Am I just a real estate agent? Am I just an attorney? Like, what makes me different from the other competitors out there? So if I'm not a brand, I'm a commodity. So I think branding is a very important thing. It's more important than ever to really establish differentiators, what makes me a brand. And then I also have to connect with people so fast, because our attention span now is so short.
I read an article once. Well,
Yeah.
part of an article.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I read the headline, right? Like, it's like,
Right.
like you have to be able to get them really quickly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's funny, the Google thing. So I typed in Charlottesville real estate the other day into Google, and the first 10 results was a mix of big firms, and then there was a couple freestanding agents that had somehow gotten into that top section.
Right.
Who must be paying attention to these things you're talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Paying a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
No?
Some of it
Is that
can
a
be
misconception?
done. Well, organic search, that there is an investment. It can be time, it can be energy, it can be money that can help to improve your rankings.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like you were saying earlier, some people don't even know about like a Google page as a business, or how the reviews influence what pops up and those sorts of things.
yeah, Google Business Profile is so critical and is often overlooked. I look at that now as being like a great starting point. It's free. You know, anybody can go and claim a Google Business Profile. So if you're a business and you don't have your Google Business Profile, you don't have access to it.
claim
That's
it.
step
Yeah.
number one, is get access to your Google Business Profile. And then Google loves it when you play with their toys, right? And we remember Google Plus. Everybody was talking about Google Plus 10 years ago. Maybe nobody was, but you know, in the tech
James
space, it was kind of big. That got sunsetted years ago and got incorporated really into Google Business Profile. So Google looks at that as a social platform. How many people think of that as a social platform? Google
Right.
Business Profile? Nobody. But
No.
Yeah.
but we post there regularly, and we recommend that our clients post there as well. You can post events there. You can post just like you would any social channel. You can post things there. So the more we use our Google Business Profile, that's one way to improve rankings, maybe in the map, as well as even organic search.
I did just Google Charlottesville Juice. Juice Laundry is number one. So
Yes.
Good job.
Hey, do you want to know who got us there?
Well,
Is this something?
That was him.
About
we
that?
may have helped
Awesome.
some with that.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. So
So you guys have worked together.
We have.
we have.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest misconception that you had when you went into this thing, Sarah? And then
I just knew really nothing at all. You know, I didn't go to school.
Self-awareness,
And
that's good.
yeah, neither did Mike about how to start a business. So everything we had done was just by doing and Googling, and you quickly learn why you need professionals and adults. And James really opened our eyes to a lot of things that we wouldn't have known what a Google Business Profile was.
you use a word sticky.
Yes.
I've heard
Oh, sticky.
Yes.
sticky. Talk to me about that. What does that mean?
So when we looked at the funnel, I was talking about that awareness, interest, decision, conversion, as we're trying to drive people into our business and down into becoming a customer of our business, we need to do two things. I've developed this like simplification of that funnel because of the idea of branding, commodities versus commoditization, and the idea of time decay, or how quickly we need to engage with people and be attracted to them. We developed our philosophy of just being there and being sticky. So I always tell our clients, you got to be there. Anywhere between nowhere and everywhere. You don't want to be nowhere. Nobody wants to be nowhere. And you can't afford to be everywhere. So we got to figure out where we can best fit in that spectrum of being everywhere and nowhere. And so then we work on, after we look at where we are, where we can afford to be, we look at the best places to be, then we look at sticky. Sticky is then how engaged can I be? How can I optimize the ability to grow my brand to be there? So the being there, I think about growing like the nucleus of an atom, like that, the nucleus, like the growing, just that brand is that presence to be as many places as I can possibly be. And then as we grow that piece, we're also trying to pull more and more people into our sphere. So the gravity of our business then to me is that stickiness. So how can I be sticky? Pulling in people into my business effectively is going to be using things like social media, being there is, do I have a social profile? Being sticky is when I post, is my content at least a little bit interesting? Do I get some engagement? And we see right now short form video content is huge. That's massive. That's a very important piece, and it gets people's attention more than maybe just content. So we got to be, I think you got to be there, and I think you got to do the best you can at producing good content, because ultimately we want to have good engagement. That's the stickiness, is making sure that we're actually getting people to engage, share, follow, click through, that type of thing.
And in those videos, oh, sorry, Nathan.
No, go ahead.
Do you find it's more helpful to have the people behind the brand? Like how important is that versus like showing the customers, or have you seen any difference there?
I think it depends on the brand.
Okay.
So it can depend on the person. You want somebody that's going to be that's going to be engaging, that increases. So depending on the person, how comfortable they are with it. I think having your customers, I think as much real, authentic things we can bring into short form video content.
So
I think
don't hire models.
Maybe not, but again, it depends on your brand. It could be, if your brand, now with AI, we've talked a little bit about AI, Chat GPT, and these types of things. Now you can have deep fakes. Basically, you pick the model, you tell them what to say, and we can produce the video content, and none of it's real. It's not even a real person, but it can look real. It can sound real. And it can actually be a marketing tool that could look professional and be professional. So it depends on your brand, I think.
Is there a scientific length to these things? Are we talking 30 seconds, 45 seconds? Should we stay within a?
There is science to it. I don't know all the numbers, and I think it's getting quicker and quicker. Right. Like it probably used to be 15 seconds. Now I think it's 5. We got to connect quickly with people. Yeah. We have a client that 7. Yeah. Oh, Sydney's 7. Saying 7. So I believe that. And yeah, we have a client who is who does land management, and they're out in Idaho, and he was producing some short form video content that we're promoting through YouTube as well. And he's jumping out of some overgrown, I wanted him to get people's attention. So at the very beginning, it's him jumping out of some overgrown, shrubbery and stuff. And you're like, what's this guy doing? Right. So, we have to, it's maybe a little gimmicky, but he's like, hey, is your yard, right. Is your yard overgrown? Do you need some bush hogging? Do you need some help with this? And so it's just, we've got to try to connect the best we can.
Wacky still works.
Wacky works.
What do you think? If people are watching and they want to, the one thing that's about digital marketing that you really want to make sure that people understand, your customers, what is the one thing that stands out the most that you're this is where you have to start. This is what you have to pay most attention to.
I think the one thing, it's a great question, Eleanor, is like I said earlier, digital marketing requires vigilance. So I would say the one thing is not necessarily a thing that you do, but it's a commitment you make. Yeah. To follow through and stick with it. You just got to keep doing it. I'm embarrassed to say this. I have a YouTube channel for Gig Strategic. I started doing some video podcasts like this, and I did maybe 3 or 4, and they fell off. And I committed. I was I'm going to do this, but it's so hard. Yeah. Sometimes as business owners, we get busy. We're doing other things. So that's when bringing in a professional, I look at us sometimes as a fitness coach too. Because like I said, it's a commitment to consistently doing something. You got to just follow through with it. And that's what we know fitness instructors do. They get us to the gym. They make sure we follow our routine, that we're doing the things we need to do. So a lot of times we're almost like an accountability partner to just say, hey, look, we're committing to this. It's hard right now. It's lost the shine of the first couple episodes. Right. Now let's keep at it. You're at episode 8 with this. It's great. Like I said, we got through 4 and I dropped off.
So do you think that, it's not just that you hire Gig to help you set up your digital marketing. It's something that's ever flowing like relationship, checking in with them and, giving them new ideas. Hey, I saw this. I don't want to, present it to you. Maybe this would be good for your company. Do you think that you continue to do that like a coach, like you're just the digital marketing coach?
Yes. Ideally, that is exactly what we want to do and be for our clients. I know we use a lot of space themes with our marketing material, and we talk about like shoot for the moon and you land among the stars. This idea of really thinking big, having big goals, and going after it. Really going after it. A lot of ambient noise here. Sorry,
they were delivering beer.
Hey, beer delivery.
Very important.
So I lost my train of thought.
Sorry, we were talking about being like a coach, continuing to check in with your clients and bringing them new ideas and things.
It was amazing, so keep it amazing.
So it's amazing, so keep it amazing.
Yeah, no, thinking about the space theme, shooting for the moon, landing among the stars. There was something I was going with that, but I don't know. It'll come back to me in a second.
There's a lot of noise.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise. So, I guess it's time for a check-in with Juice Laundry. You need to make an appointment and check in and see how things are going.
Maintenance check.
Yeah, maintenance check.
You use the analogy of a fitness coach. And everyone knows you go to the gym, you're not going to be all buff like Eleanor here after like a week, right?
Right.
But there is a point in time where you do say, now I can really see the results. I'm sure it varies brand to brand, but is there a window of time we should say, okay, like this is when we should really start to see this? It's not the first 3 months or 6 months, but about this point, this is where we should start to see these things. Is that something?
Absolutely, Nathan. That's a good question as well. Eleanor, he had a good question. You had a good question.
We're
good questions, all
today.
of you, Sarah. You guys are doing great. I'm going to come back to that because I'm going to go back to what I was said, and it's going to segue, I think, into it. But the space theme, the idea, when we shoot a rocket to the moon, the course corrections along the way for it to get there, there are countless. Every second, there are just countless course corrections. It's never really actually going correct the entire time. It's going the wrong way like 99% of the time. But by course correcting all the way, eventually it gets there, right? That's, when I think of that, I think of small businesses, is that we're trying to course correct all the time. So that's where optimizations happen. So, and it does, depending on the channel, depending on where you are with your budget, with what you can afford to invest and where your brand is, things can happen more quickly, things can happen more slowly. We're currently working with a company in, I brought their review today. I don't even know where, they're in Tennessee, and they just left a review for us on our Google business profile. And it's one of those where, as the business owner, right, like I'm tearing up. Like my team is just awesome. I'm so proud of them. They just started out, new law firm, brand new website. And they were saying they've only opened 7 months ago. And within the first few months, we were already helping them organically to come up high enough that they were getting business and leads and now are doing paid search. So depending on the platform, SEO takes a long time. It's like a rudder on a ship that you do the thing and then the ship slowly turns and you finally start getting that momentum, 3 to 6 months sometimes to get the ranking for the keywords we're trying to help improve. It can happen quicker depending on how competitive the space is, things like that. Paid search, we'd want to see things really quickly. Like in the first week, I want to start seeing leads come through and seeing that it's working. So, we don't, even though we commit to the process, we don't commit to a failed process. So we do have to look at things and eventually go, okay, is it working or not working? If not working, if we can't figure out why, we're very quick to like put that aside and let's move to something else. We're very flexible. We don't like to stick with things that don't work. You know what I mean?
This is a question you probably would hate to get from a customer, but it's just me being the goofy guy. Is there one particular platform that's better or hotter than the others? Right? And you probably would say, well, they're all important, but is there one that's like, no, that's your moneymaker right there?
Oh gosh, as a platform goes, I'm pretty agnostic, I guess would be what I would say when it comes to this, because it can vary. It depends. You might get traction in Instagram, then go for it. I mean, you got to stick with what's working for you. Right. Like take the horse that whatever the expression is, come finish the race with the horse that got you here. I don't know. There's some
the horse that eats Jello is the one to look at.
There you go. Thanks, Nathan. Oh,
Throw that out there.
so we can, we'd have to look at, depending on what channel. What I would say is a place to invest. I think that's overlooked as well as your website. I think websites are important. I think websites don't get sometimes the attention that they need or deserve. But I love websites because you own the data. There are a lot of things we can do on a website that we can't do on social media platforms and other places like that. So
I had a good question.
Felt like you did.
I did. What was that?
I have a good example for Nathan.
Okay, do an example.
Okay,
while I,
so
think about the
for
question.
instance, for the juice laundry, we're not really getting new customers on Instagram, but we can't not have an Instagram because a lot of college kids will tag us or want to be seen there. So it's like we have to have that platform. But the majority of our new customers are typing in juice in Google and choosing from there. So like can't have, what I've learned is you can't have just one. You kind of have to have all of them to some degree, which makes it a little more difficult for a business owner, which is why someone like James is super important.
Well, I think that's a great point. And we had a client this morning that reached out about attribution. Some attribution models are changing with GA4 with some of the things that are happening with Google Analytics. Sorry, a little more noise back here. But with Google Analytics, there's some changes happening in the platform, and they're developing a machine learning process for attribution for conversions. Okay. And our clients are like, hey, is this important? And I'm totally, what you just said, Sarah, is a great point, that I think we could get lost in the rabbit hole of attribution, and people will start to chase things like, okay, last click, they came in from a paid search ad, so I'm going to put all my money into paid search, and then they forego all the other platforms, and that's not the right answer. I think we consider ourselves a diet and exercise company. We help our clients with diet and exercise. We know if we eat well, we take care of ourselves, overall we're going to win. We're going to be successful. We're going to be okay. We're going to be healthier, as healthy as we can be. We're not into the fads, and that can be where Nathan, like the fad of the platform, and I'm all in on my video podcast that I did for 4 times on YouTube, and it fell away. And so we can get sometimes the flashy, shiny light that we chase as a business owner, when the reality is we do need to do it across all the platforms, because maybe they see us through a display advertisement, they see a display ad, a banner ad, whatever, but then they go and search for us and we're not there. Then, because we didn't invest our social profile, we say, if our friend doesn't post on Facebook for a week, we're like knocking on the door to see if they're still alive. If a business doesn't post, regularly, they drop off for a couple months, we're like, are they still in business? So it's like we have to stay relevant across all this, because we don't know where they're going to come in from. I got a 1-star review on this one review platform, and I'm like, nobody goes there or whatever. But that one that does see it, they're going to go, I'm not going to you. When commoditization again, competition, there's 5 other ones out there that have 5-star reviews. Forget it. It's so much easier for me to just go to the one I know has the 5-star versus risking it with the 1-star.
When I buy something, I look at reviews and I'm like, oh, awesome. They have a average of 4.5 stars, but I look for the bad ones. Why was it bad?
Right.
Was it bad because it was customer experience, like the one guy that worked at that place? Or is it like every time I buy something there, it falls apart or it makes me sick, right? So you totally look at those bad reviews. I answer every single dairy market review.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even the good ones.
That makes a big difference.
Right?
Right?
I don't answer just the bad ones. I answer the good ones. Thanks for the review. It's so nice to have you here. Can't wait to have you back. Answer the bad ones. And a lot of times I answer the bad ones with, I'm so sorry you've had this experience. Please email us more information, give an email address so that we can kind of not just saying, oh yeah, we did bad, but just so sorry you had this experience. Please email us with more info. Right? So that we can have.
Punch you in the face.
I'm not doing that.
Just stay away if you didn't like it.
I'm sure there's plenty of those
And
that we
that's why
always
you're
want
not
to
in
answer.
charge of it.
They'll do it.
That's why you don't answer reviews.
20 minutes, and they'd be like, that's enough.
That's enough. Get out.
Eleanor, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, that's exactly what we encourage our clients to do. Respond to every review. Somebody takes the time. We just had this guy, he wrote this raving review for us. And, if we just left it and didn't respond, it's like, and it's interactive.
Yeah.
We want to interact. So responding to
I
all of them.
plan a couple of times a week, certain times in the day where I sit and I just look at the newest reviews and make sure I've gotten them all in the last 48 hours. Making sure that those get answered a couple of times a week.
Okay, now what about the brands that they troll in their there were some big brands, and it I think it's between the fast food brands. They kind of like troll
They troll each other.
Yeah,
I
they
love
troll
that.
each other.
I love those. Those are just hilarious.
I know they are.
They're hilarious. Like who actually believes that that's actually, whatever.
A
But
customer.
It's it's just funny.
I know it is.
Yeah.
So
funny.
we only have a couple more minutes.
Yeah,
And I think
okay,
I
so
remembered
no
my
trolling.
question. I always usually have a silly question to ask. This one's a little bit more serious, but I always usually have a silly question. So we were talking about, what's most important about setting each other, like setting yourself aside from others and how do you stand out? So my question is, what sets us apart from others? And we can either answer it like personally or like the business or the networking group or the business or the personal. What kind of sets us apart from others? What's the one thing that stands out with your brand or your personal brand?
You want to start?
Sure. Yeah. So for us, we've really worked hard on knowing exactly who we are and what we can and can't do.
Mm-hmm.
And then we work really hard to try to communicate that effectively to our prospective customers so that we have a great relationship that lasts a long time. And we find that we want to work with people that want to work with us. So we had to develop our brand and really get very crystal clear on exactly who we are and what we do. And so one of our biggest differentiators is that we're accountable. So we're look you in the eye accountability. That's when it comes to digital marketing, that can be hard to get somebody that's going to sit across the table and actually talk to you about what you're doing, because it could be somebody somewhere else and then behind who knows what. Well, we're right there. We have that look you in the eye accountability. Accessibility, we want to make sure that we're accessible and responsive. So everything, when people are working with us, we're responding very quickly. And then we're affordable. We keep our costs down for what a small business can typically do.
Yeah.
So there's couple other things that make us different. No long-term contracts. We have short-term, let people out 30 days at any time, because again, we don't want to work with people that don't want to work with us. So there's a few other things, but yeah, those are a couple in a nutshell.
What do you think that sets you apart from everybody else?
I'm going to
besides
speak
your
for Station C.
handsomeness.
Well, see, that's the easy-
Handsomeness.
That's the easy answer for me.
It's not
but I
as
wanna
much.
dive into-
Nathan, it doesn't set you apart, your own camera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
what sets Station C apart from others? What's that
So
one thing?
I think that for Station C, the big differentiator between us and everyone else is the relationship type that is built and formed, within our groups. It's not, as I always say, it's not transactional. It's not just worried about what the bottom line is and how many bucks did I make off the group this week. Although that is an important part, and it does happen. I think what we've seen just kind of organically happen is that folks are genuinely liking each other. Folks genuinely want to hang out with each other.
Yeah.
Friendships are happening. And you see that at the monthly events. Folks are getting together. They're, communicating. They're talking. They're hugging. It's friends getting together, and that's something that I don't think you see in the other groups. There's some other groups that are doing great things. There's some great nonprofit groups, and they all have their place. But I think this is beyond
The organic friendships that are
this is as much personal as it is business, and they both have value in your life, and you will get value out of both of those with Station C.
And I'll just add to that, friend hang tomorrow for March
CCR.
Madness. I'm not into basketball, but I did just learn what ACC means. And UVA is playing a game tomorrow.
We're dropping science on you here.
Station C is going to meet at Cardinal Hall at noon
Go
if
Hoos.
anyone wants to join. Yeah, go Hoos. Wahoo-wah.
I guess we're talking about Station C, but I'll do Dairy Market. I think what sets Dairy Market apart is that most food halls are actually, all the stalls are owned by one person. So who owns the business and the building actually owns all the food halls, and we're independent.
Yeah.
So all of our stalls are independently owned by, mostly all small business, local Charlottesville companies. So I think that's what really sets us aside, is that really the market is owned by all these different people, and that's what builds the market.
And I do have one quick question from a viewer. And they want to know, how can we hear your lovely daughter's song on Spotify? What's that info?
That's right.
Oh,
Your
James
daughter
has
did
an amazingly
song
talented
on
My
Spotify.
daughter she writes some original music. She's a singer-songwriter, and she has a song called Woman for You. And so if you search Woman for You,
Woman for
Caitlin
You.
Burton on Spotify or wherever else you download your music, you should find her. And it is a very catchy tune.
It's a great song. I haven't
Yeah.
listened
It's
to it.
stuck in my head sometimes for days on
I'm so
end.
excited about it.
Yeah. It's so real quick. I know we're wrapping it up, but heck with it. We don't have advertising.
Yeah, you didn't let Sarah go.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant.
I
Oh,
thought you were talking about Station C.
Fine.
I'm the
I'll
worst.
go quick.
I'm the worst.
Well, something that James helped us work with too is defining our brand. And I think Juice Laundry stands out because we are the only organic and only vegan and only certified gluten-free facility in all of Charlottesville.
Yeah.
For a long time, we were the only all-vegan spot, but now we got Botanical Fair. If you haven't tried, they're amazing. And Greenberger is now all vegan. So, having when people search online, like that, we're the only people in Charlottesville that do any of those things and all of them combined. So having him help us define that and make that very present in our online presence has been awesome. And one other last thing is if people want to get in touch with you and become number one in their search, like Juice Laundry, how do they do that?
So yeah, we've got gigstrategic.com as our website. I think that's a good place to start. So you can see our Google business
one
profile.
of the Station C meetings.
Yeah,
come on out.
Yeah, sure. We'd love to get to know anybody in the community, any business owners. We love working with them. So yeah, happy to help any way we can. Whether you become a client or not, seriously, that's another thing.
Yeah.
With us, whether we work with you as a client, doesn't matter. We really want to see local businesses be successful online.
And listen to Caitlin's song first.
Yes.
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 Caitlin's song.
Okay.
What is it again? The name of it?
Woman for You.
Woman for You.
Woman
Yeah.
for you.
All right.
Now, Nathan, you can have the mic.
That's it. I'm done. That's it.
Thank you so
you know
much,
what?
James.
I'm going
This
to take
was
next
awesome.
week off.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for
We're going to
having
kick
me. I
him
really
out for next
appreciate
week.
it.
Next week I
It's just
won't
going to
be
be
here.
you and me, Sarah. Yay!
right.
We're going to take over.
It's going to be the ladies.
Love you though, Nathan.
All the ladies.
Thank
All right.
you,
Well,
James.
Promise to follow the rules.
the Ocho in the books. Next week, just these two. So tune in anyway. It'll be good. And we'll see you then.
Probably.